Okay, life is like an onion. No, I'm just kidding. Life is similar to a chessboard, and within a chessboard, you're always making moves, you know? Let's turn that off for a sec. And some people are pawns. Some people are not making moves. Some people, they think they're making moves and they're just moving one space. Or someone else is kind of just like, you know, they're being pushed to the front to just kind of like, you know, get out of here. They're not really, you kind of get the analogy. I'm not gonna like keep going off on that analogy, but that's kind of everything. That's what I was thinking lately. I was thinking a lot about product, and I was thinking a lot after I made this new YouTube. It's like the algorithm started pushing random music stuff at me and stuff that I haven't seen in years or looked at in years. And the two things that I saw Mac DeMarco. I'm sure a lot of people know who Mac DeMarco is. Maybe they don't if they're salespeople watching this video or entrepreneurial people, but he's a Canadian indie musician. Then I also saw Tame Impala. And I know a ton of different people that have been doing music for a very, very long time, and they're wondering why they can't make it in music, right? And it made me think of the core of business, right? And I think musicians particularly, they're told all these self-limiting beliefs kind of growing up about, oh, you can't make it in this, you can't make it in that, and that doesn't make sense, right? But really, everything is, it's a product or service, right? And the two things I looked at, like Tame Impala and Mac, and say all these other bands, even the people that are like, even if it's a digital medium of a product, right? It's still essentially word of mouth, and that's still gonna get you playing gigs. Do you know what I mean? Or it's gonna get you on like more important, not important, but bigger shows or something like that, playing the Tonight Show, or I don't know, just random stuff, Conan O'Brien. I have no idea, you know what I mean? What's a good gig? But that is essentially like how word of mouth works, and people don't realize in business that it's like everything is product or service. Do you know what I mean? And if you just gig, it's a lot harder to kind of share like a service or a product unless you're like uploading concerts constantly, but then you're gonna need like a Grateful Dead cult following type thing. But yeah, I think a lot of musicians miss the point that in order to be able to sustain themselves is you need to sell something, right? And a lot of people where it's like, oh, I got cult followers, I got fans, it's like they're consumers, really. And I think it was someone like, oh, it's probably Noel Gallagher or something like that, right? And he said, oh, you know, the customer doesn't know what they want. And I think in a lot of ways they don't. Do you know what I mean? Because you look at someone like Tame Impala, and he just like made music so internally, right? And he isolated himself from all these different band members and had some kind of vision to be like, okay, I'm gonna like make all this music I'm hearing, right? And it's like, how do the consumers know anything about that if it's coming in his head? And then when they hear it, they go, oh, wow, that's so interesting. I haven't heard anything like that before. Or maybe they have, or they go, oh, I like this. You know what I mean? But it's like they don't see a vision. Do you know what I mean? They can't see the vision, really. And I think that's the interesting part, because as someone who's played tons of music and jammed a lot, and I think I'm the best bass player in Canada. Groove bass bass player. I don't know. I like, it's so funny to say something like that and people go, oh my God, that's crazy. And it's like, nah, I think it's just what I think. You know what I mean? I think when you have that self-concept, you kind of strive towards that, where if you just think you're shit, then like, where are you going to go? But I genuinely, you know, again, something with like identity and all these different people, like Prince turning his name into a symbol is like another example. I'm talking about Prince again. Or like, I don't know, all these different musicians being like, oh, I need a persona. I don't know if it's Lady Gaga or Madonna or whoever I thought it was Beyonce. I have no idea, man. But like one of those three, or maybe all three of them, had a persona. And they're like, oh man, I think it was Beyonce. Beyonce's like, oh, Beyonce. That's 100% what it was. It was definitely Beyonce. But she had this like persona where she's like, oh, it's Beyonce. And that's like a different caricature, not a caricature, but like that's like a thing she's like sitting into, an energy she's going into, right? And that's like when I made my Instagram, and I was like, I remember I started busking on the street, playing bass on the street. I didn't see anyone doing that anywhere really at the time. I can't even think of many people that do that, just a bass on the street, like playing over tracks and stuff, because like I went to a new town and no one knew who I was. So I did that, and then I started getting invited to do all these like different gigs and stuff like that. And I got an Afrobeat band, and all these Brazilians started playing with me and stuff like that. But there was that, and I think the thing is I was like, I called myself, I was like, Fattest Grooves. That's who I am, I'm Fattest Grooves. And I wasn't saying I'm like the best at reading charts or standards or playing jazz or any of these things, and I'm not even saying like I'm the best at this or that, but I'm like, no, it's Fattest Groove. This is like the fattest, biggest groove, you know what I mean? And to me, that's what a good bass player is. So that's where I go like, well, it's like Fattest Grooves, right? And I noticed as soon as I identified with that, then I really moved into that. And then anywhere I went, it was just like, even if I had that whole thing of like, this has all got a groove. Always in my head, I was like, I don't play anything if it doesn't groove. If it doesn't groove, don't play it. And then if you can like, if you play a massive fill or you play shit that's like tons of different whatever, and it's all 16th notes and it's all like, you know, ghost notes or something, it's like, it's still grooving. You know what I mean? I would never play something unless it grooved in the pocket of whatever I was playing. And I still play like that. And I think when you think like that, you can kind of like not be, maybe I don't pay as much attention to like form when I'm playing a chart or something, which is something I kind of want to get back into. But yeah, that's like an element of like attaching your identity to something, and that's something I'm still, you know, attach my identity to. And then you kind of go, you know, attaching your identity to say like, oh, entrepreneurship, and like now I've kind of gone to be like an entrepreneur, and I'm a business owner, and I'm doing all this like sales and marketing and all this different stuff, and I'm like, I'm noticing my identity is shifting in a way in terms of like my relationship with, say, like money and that kind of thing. And making money like not as an employee is like a whole different thing as well. But I guess that's another thing. We kind of started off with the chessboard and how everything is moves, and I think everything is still like making moves and stuff, like entrepreneurship or whatever. And then like music business, so people think it's so dramatic. It's like it's just a product or a service. You know, it's like, it's not so convoluted. Like I know a lot of musicians, they wanted me to take, they're like, oh, you're gonna take music business? And when I was in uni, I was like, I didn't know anything. Like I knew a little bit about business because I had like I guess I was around, like my uncle's like an entrepreneur. So anytime I kind of saw that, I was like, music business. Well, and even business, like I remember I took business in my first year, and I was like, man, this guy is not an entrepreneur. So like, what's the point of him teaching this? So I just kind of like, I think I took accounting or something in my last year. People were like, oh, you can take business, music business. I was like, oh, I'm just going to take accounting. And it was hard, and I did not like it at all. But I think I'm glad I took it because it made me kind of think about like, you know, reading a balance sheet and different stuff like that. And like, that's like way more important than, you know, music businesses. So should not be so convoluted. But again, I think this video is really like, it's just been like a spiel, and I think it's pretty solid. I don't know. I think I kind of got some stuff out, and it's the same thing. It's like, you know, priming the pump, and we keep priming the pump. But I think I'm saying some good stuff, and I think I'm, you know, an insightful guy. But what was I going to say? Yeah, I'm just being silly now. Yeah, go to worldgroovesociety.com and make an account if you still haven't, and check it out. We're gonna have regular lives like week to week that are free, and you can go into these free lives, and they're gonna be people from Nigeria and Brazil and India and all these different countries, and Peru and all this different stuff. And that's what's good, and you can go and learn music from all those different countries. So that's what we're up to, and it's all in English, you know. And yeah, so worldgroovesociety.com if you are a musician. So take it easy and check it. See ya. Oof. What am I doing? Peace? I don't know.